comic end our show, but I wanted to give you your time tonight. So if you wanted to tell your big finale story.
Would you guess that everyone here knows about Groucho and the trance medium? I can run it quickly.
Yeah.
They were on tour, the brothers. They were huge stars in vaudeville. They didn't need movies, they felt. And luckily they made them. But they're in a town, I think he said maybe Minneapolis. And a woman said, "Are you interested in the occult, Mr. Marx?" And he said, "I am." And she said, "Would you like to come to a seance?" And they had the great Anna Eva Fay, a British trance medium, in town, and some very wealthy people in a huge home. It was all draped in black for her. And they had said, "Now, Groucho, you must behave yourself." And he said, "Look, I'm an idiot on stage, but I have serious interests, and I'll be fine." She stood there looking, I guess, probably like Margaret Dumont in Marx Brothers movies. And, "I am in touch with the other world. Does anyone have a question?" And a familiar voice said, "What is the capital of North Dakota?" And he said he escaped with his life down an alley. But as Bob Host used to say, the one I want to tell, and I'll promise to get off on the dream come true for me working with Johnny and the Jack Parr Tonight Show and Merv Griffin was that I got to hang around everybody I'd ever idolized as a kid. I got to go in the dressing room and the makeup room with Bob Hope and Jack Benny and Danny Thomas and Milton Berle and Red Skelton and everybody. I'd been hanging around Mr. Benny, the most beloved man probably in show business ever. I could tell you a few of the most hated ones too. Benny was just adored. He worked the cleanest probably of any radio comedian, and yet was hilariously funny. And he was nice to people. We get in the elevator after the Tonight Show. Tourists get in, though they weren't supposed to get in that elevator. And so he's subjected already on the 7th floor to, "Are you really cheap?" Older people will have to explain these references to. Another one said, "Do you really play the violin?" And another one said, "Do you really not pay Rochester? Do you really have a man living under your house in a vault checking your money?" They got them all in. We got down, they run out to tell their friends, and I said, "Mr. Benny, does that sort of thing get a little tiresome all the time?" And he put his arm on my shoulder, and he said, "You know, kid, sometimes you just want to tell them to go fuck themselves."
Dick Cavett. Dick Cavett. What? Okay. You want to walk out? You're the last guest. You're it. So, you want to make your? I just want to say one final.
Let's start over.
I just want to say one final thing while I'm up here. You know, when I read that story about you meeting Groucho at George Kaufman's funeral many years ago, I fantasized that I would get to meet you at a funeral and befriend you in the way that you befriended Groucho.
I just had a checkup. I'm okay.
Well, not your funeral. No. I'm just glad that I got to meet you under better circumstances, is what I wanted to say. And thank you so much for doing the show. And
that's very touching, and you deserve the success you are sure to continue to have.
thank you very much. He's talking nonsense. Folks, that's our show. I'm sorry it went long. I appreciate you sticking around. I hope it was worth it. I think it was. Dick Cavett, Andy Borowitz, Penny England, Josh Rubin as Joe Loda, the musical guests, my dad Marty over here with the big remarks tonight. I'm safe. Thank you so much. Have a good night.